And it's you,
What's
Rusty.
up, WWE Champions Universe? Welcome to Champions Chat, the fastest growing podcast dedicated to the WWE Champions mobile game. I'm your boy, Montez Ford, and with me, as always, Angelo Dawkins, Lee Brown. What's up, Lee? We're the
You
Street
didn't.
Profits today.
I was gonna say you didn't have that one ready yet, did you?
I rarely have them ready. Usually, they roll right off the tongue because I'm such an avid fan of tag team wrestling. Um, it's really interesting. The Street Profits are kind of experiencing a little bit of a revival and now a feud with the Bloodline out of
Ooh,
nowhere. So,
interesting. And yet
have you
Bobby
been following
Lashley's
that?
been off TV. I this last couple of weeks, if you've followed on our Discord server, have been a little rough for me. So I have not been able to watch even really much of the daily Wrestle Talk updates that I normally do, unfortunately.
All right.
But I'll get back to it. This weekend is kind of hectic, but then after that, my life gets a little bit back to normal.
Well, since you don't know this information, they're booking Kevin Owens with the Street Profits in a
Oh,
Bloodline 2.0 skirmish. So Solo Sokoa and the Tonga brothers are actively feuding, and somehow the Street Profits, and kind of an old tribute to WCW days where you weren't sure who was going to run from backstage to assist. Just like a random person that's in
hmm,
the locker room. They're like, you run out there and help him. That's kind of what they did
interesting.
with the Street Profits this month. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, there really is no reason that they're helping them.
No rhyme
Um,
or reason. It's just there.
well, Lee, you've been out of pocket for a little bit. Um,
Right.
so today's episode is actually perfect for you and others like you. We're calling this episode, in tribute to the Miz, awesome things you might have missed. So a little
Right.
play on words. Awesome things you might have missed. I have a friend named Tamilix, and he's a friend in real life, right? So Tamilix is he probably stepped away from the game at least 6 months ago. I think longer. I think about it. He's got a pretty stacked 6-star silver roster, but he's come back to the game recently and rejoined his friends and faction mates in Xena. Do you know about Xena? I
No.
guess Xena. Oh yeah, Xena is they're consistently a top 20 faction. I think they're affiliated with Team I think it's Team Slam, or I
Okay.
can't remember which one. He's on one of the two. He's on Xena. I think they're connected to Team Slam. Good guys, leader. I mean, they're on the leaderboard. They're high in the ranks. But I've been thinking about what has Tamilix missed, and what are other things that people in the community might have missed, because the game has been moving at light speed the last few months. And
Yeah.
so I'm finding out that even in Discord, we'll be talking to our faction and they'll be like, what do you mean? I didn't know that. And I'm just like, wow. So
Ah.
for the sake of the whole community, we're going to talk through, I think, some of the interesting and good things about the game today that we feel some people in the community just haven't caught on to yet. So if this feels kind of elementary to you, like, just know that maybe today's episode, there might be some of the basics that we cover where you go, oh, I I haven't thought about that for a while. So we're
Right.
going to go and really, just so if you've been with us on this journey for a while, Lee and I, this is kind of what we've always done. We've
Yeah.
always been a talk about the things that we find interesting about the game, that many who are actively trying to max the MLC, information they probably need to know, right?
Right.
If you're accustomed to just maxing it on autopilot, maybe nothing we say ever is interesting to you. But we want to stick with what we do best And
I was gonna say that's not the feedback we get. Usually, the feedback we get is like, "Hey, we just love hearing you guys talk about the game because we love it," and oftentimes like, "Hey, you guys said things that I didn't even realize." Because even if you're a
nice.
top player of this game, all that kind of stuff, it tends to be that there's so much moving so quick, and there's different requirements and blah blah that there's just things that you overlook or forget, or maybe you're used to playing it a certain way, and in the business world we'd call it optimization. Like you haven't optimized to some new things that really like would make your life easier, for example.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of the point of this one.
Well, Lee, why don't we start at a 30,000-foot overview of? I'll let you take it first. You're one of the subjects that you sent to me was just the fact that plus 99 MP exists,
Right.
and if that ties into kind of where we're at in the meta, what 6-star gold is all about. So I think that's kind of the baseline we
To
can start
start.
with.
Yeah.
So what are
That
some
makes
things
sense.
people might have overlooked now about either plus 99 MP or 6-star gold superstars?
Sure, sure. Well, I mean, again, so Tamilix is an example. Been gone 6 months. You come back, and all of a sudden, there's like this plus 99 MP. The structure of MLCs has changed. You're up to 6-star gold. I mean, that alone is a lot to unpack. But just the plus 99 MP piece, I think we're still early enough days on this that it's a little bit new for, especially if new players are coming in, or somebody who hasn't played the game, or, the joke is often like, yeah, I'm retiring from the game, and then 2 weeks later, like, okay, I'm back, guys. But like some people, retire from the game, quote unquote, and then they're back like a month or 5 or whatever later. So if you miss the plus 99 MP, I mean, it is probably the biggest functional change. And it was like a gateway change. It was a gateway drug to all the changes that kind of came about in this new MLC structure, and kind of even the way that they're positioning purchases, so to speak, in that's always been about FOMO, right? But now, it seems like there's a few characters that are even a little bit more accessible. Your A tier character each month is fairly more accessible. And the big benefit is just getting them as soon as possible, because things like 99 MP and victory tours make a huge difference. I mean, like I haven't, this last couple weeks, I haven't been able to make really any videos, to be honest, with all that's been going on in my personal life. But one of the series I was going to start right before 6-star gold hit and only got a couple into was after plus 99 MP, are they still good, right? So we got the one video with Rock and Roman, which I was wrong about. I thought he was garbage when he came out. And then Two Bob showed me how to run him. And even after plus 99 MP, he's great. Yeah.
I like that Roman.
That Roman.
All the other Romans are so poor. So
yeah.
by
Except for Mutant.
I really like Rock. Well, I don't have Mutant, so I really, really like Rock and Roman because he's
right.
far and away my best Roman Reigns.
Right.
So
yeah, and that makes total sense. But even like your free characters, the big thing was on debut, they would have some random buff, and each month there would be some characters that usually had a combination of MP, more damage, whatever. But now you just flat out know, like, if I get a character, the month they came out and the month after, they're going to have plus 99 MP, which means I can do some insane builds, and a character like a Maurice or a final boss, is going to have some additional utility for 2 months before we put them on the shelf or decide if they're actually worth keeping around. So your thoughts on the plus 99 so far?
Well, Lee, clarify for us. You said for 2 months. What are those 2 months? How does that work?
Oh, sure. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just the month that they come out. So, like, Maurice, for example, is the free character. So you get her. Now you don't get her until day 4 unless you buy the kickoff pass and all that good stuff. But you get the free character within the first week of the new MLC. And that entire month and the entire next MLC, however long that MLC is, whether it's 4 or 5 weeks, is going to have plus 99 MP. So you can do, like, for example, Maurice. I've heard you mention a number of times triple yellow, and I'm like, nah, man, you need to run the reinforce and into blue, red, blue setup. That was our 3-minute move set, all that kind of stuff. But right now, you can use reinforced trainers, you can use blue damage trainers, you can use all this. Whereas after plus 99 MP, obviously you're going to need to do MP trainers in the place of these damage dealers. So she is going to hit remarkably less hard once that goes away. And so it just changes the way we look at characters. We always try to power rate, and we always try to do our preview videos with trainers in place that would be what it's like after plus 99 MP, because it's a lot easier to figure out, if I don't need this trainer, then I can just very easily, plot in somebody who does damage, versus going back and going, oh crap, who do I need for this? And I got to have that character. But it really changes the way you play with characters, and it changes them on a functional level for 2 full months, or at least as soon as you get them in the MLC they're in.
So Lee just rapid fired some stuff. I actually have a list of bullet points that we're going to be talking through. And if I feel like he says anything, now we're going to keep using Tamilix as the example. If I feel like Lee says, if he references something that I'm not sure Tamilix would know about, I'm going to make him circle back and say, wait a second, that's something we might have missed out on as well.
Right.
I was wrong. Let me also say, I was way wrong about Maurice.
Yeah.
The yellow sub move is good.
It's okay.
But it's really not the best way to run her. I ran into the current tour that's out. This week's tour is very difficult, and I could not advance any further in hell mode with the triple yellow super sub build. I kept losing to Natalia, so I had to switch over to basically what was all just blue gym damage trainers and run the red and the blue set, and it was much better. I don't have her gear. If I had her gear, it would be really good.
Yeah.
And I now I'm going, I wish I had that gear that I initially thought was useless earlier in the month. But Lee, this opens the door to our next thing you might have missed. Awesome. Now we're saying awesome thing you might have missed.
So funny the second time too.
I know, right? So you said that I'm essentially reframing what you said, and I want you to talk about it. The faster you get the new MLC superstars, the better it is. You said that, and so I wrote that down as a bullet point. Hang on, that's new. That's different.
Right.
That's different because this new format, right? It used to be a weekend surprise. Who's the new superstar going to be?
Right.
And they were only really useful that weekend for like a bonus tour,
right?
Or maybe like there was a victory tour at the end of the month for them. Well, you talk about now the race that is on, even at kickoff, to get the free character 4 days in advance. Talk to us about the pace and the race of what you think, how things have changed and what someone might have missed with that.
Yeah, and then we can talk about whether we like it or not. So the game has always been built on FOMO. I mean, all of these type games are, and we have to say it frequently is, look, if you're a free-to-play player, we both were in some version across years of playing this game, or light spend, etc. But if you're free to play, oftentimes it's like, all they try and do is make money. All they're doing is, well, let's be honest, if they don't make money, the game goes away. Like this isn't a free enterprise of like, the Scopely Worldwide is going, we would like to create this as a charity project for the WWE.
What business in the world does not exist to make money?
Right.
What, other than like a nonprofit, right?
Right.
So when we went to a WWE house show, I think we got tickets for about $20 each. So the venue exists to make money.
Right.
Once we got in the show, I realized the popcorn was about $8. The Cody Rhodes T-shirt that I wanted was about $40. The
Jeez.
teddy bear that my daughter wanted was like another 20. Everything at that house show, even
Right.
with the low cost of admission, was designed to extract money from my wallet. So
Right.
it was wild, bro. And like a soda, like a small soda for the kids was like, $5, right? So I mean, it's just, I mean, we spent as a family, we spent at least $250 to go to
Right.
a house show.
$20 house show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Right.
like, you know,
Right, right. So let's not begrudge them for coming up with a business model that is advantageous, because that's what works. We just have to decide, do we like it? Is that something we're going to play, cater to, so to speak, or whatever? But the reality is, it's always been built around, can you get that character weekend debut? Because like you said, there's usually not only like the weekend of, but the day of, like their first 24 hours, you get bonus rewards, you get more prize wall benefit, you get, et cetera, et cetera. And so the game has always been built around that, but they've kind of taken it to the next level of, not only announcing who is going to be out each week, but then giving you a pathway to get them sooner. Like, so for example, theoretically, this weekend is Showdown. Miz is the A tier character, so this weekend would be built around Miz. But we've had the ability since almost the start of the MLC, the first weekend of it for sure, to recruit Miz. And the sooner you recruit Miz, the more you are going to get. And so they're incentivizing not through surprise, but through, you're going to miss out on these other rewards.
right.
For example, The Miz has had a victory tour, and those now reset weekly. Having got Final Boss Rock in week 2 of last month's, which was the first of this new format, I got a lot. I mean, just a flat out lot of rewards from that. And now, in addition to like the weekly surprise of, oh, we don't know what this is going to be, like the big change that just went live for the first time during this current midweek event is that the midweek prize wall is now a month-long midweek prize wall. And if you have had The Miz, you get at least 700, I think I saw, and it might be more than that, but at least one node has 700 prize wall medallions, and that's going to last the entire month. So the sooner you get Miz, you get victory tours, you get prize wall medallions, and there's some pretty great stuff on that prize wall. I already picked off, just quick brag moment, I spent a mega to do it, but I got the tribute to the troops moment, which means my Hulk Hogan Immortal, like all I'm missing is his gear, and I have the Megazord complete. I'm very happy for that. But I could have chased it all month, and that, it's a different way of FOMO. Like, think about the fact that those prize walls were usually one event only. If you didn't do well on them, you were like, this is stupid, I'm done, I hate this. Now that midweek prize wall is going to be 4 midweeks long, and you can work towards something you really want. And so it's like FOMO meets long-term plan. Okay, I've got the analogy for it. It is Triple H era booking. That's what they're doing now. It's Triple H era, because they're doing long-term booking, even if it's a month at a time, so to speak, but much longer than the weekend, we know. There's long-term booking, but then there's these little events in each that are building towards it consistently.
Okay. So, like I said, when you mention things that they might have missed, I'm going to have you circle back to it. And some of the things that you just brought up are in my notes already. We're actually going to do a full midweek, month-long prize wall breakdown and walkthrough as part of this things you might have missed a little later in today's episode. So stay tuned for that. But Lee, you mentioned the final boss Rock getting in week 2.
I did.
Let me ask you this. True or false?
Whoa.
Final boss Rock
has
been the MVP of your roster for the last 2 months.
For me, that would be false. I have not.
Oh,
I've not
the
used him.
truth. Tell the truth.
I am. I am telling the truth. I mean, he's been very good, and okay, I would say MVP of the feud where he had the steel health bonus. Oh my
The single
goodness,
click
absolutely.
wipeout. Well, okay. Take into account what I'm saying. He's and here's my case for
Okay,
why he's
let me hear it.
MVP.
Let me hear it.
Now, I think he's going to get dethroned as the MVP by the
Agreed.
Miz.
Yeah,
Okay,
agreed.
but for the you said it, weekly reset victory tours.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you were able to get him in week 2 or 3, you just were able to harvest enough resource to actually take him 6-star gold without needing additional currency in the game. So
Right.
he was a self-funding superstar
Yeah,
that
I could see
then
that.
helped you to accomplish countless CSS goals.
That's
He
true.
had he had tours that were dedicated to just him. He had a what is it called? Premium Showdown
Yeah,
dedicated to just him.
that's
And if
right.
you had him, you got to access the prize wall medallions,
That's right.
right, for a day earlier. And then he was the MVP of the following day's showdown because of
Yeah,
what you needed to do for the faction requirements to hit the botch gems and the
yeah,
purple gems. And then he
that's true.
was both a top line and then a middle line bonus in feuds, right? So he was your
Right.
top line bonus guy, and then in this monk's first feud, he was the middle line bonus guy. He has been a primary contributor to boss battle damage for the
True.
last 2 boss battles. They were designed to boost purple gems and botch gems, which he does perfectly with his black, purple setup. He lays the
Right.
whole bottom row juggernauts, swipe, the whole board turns to botch, swipe, the whole board turns to purple. It's
Right.
just bam, 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 bam. To me, we're seeing this is something you might have missed. This is the new paradigm.
It is.
I don't think you can afford to only take up the people you like anymore. I think now, and something I think a lot of the community is missing because they were low on Final Boss and they did not bring him up. They
Right.
harvested all those resources for their Bradshaw or for their Sonya or for someone else, right? I've gotten so much back from taking Final Boss up that it's worth it to me. It's just
Yeah.
worth it. The same way you would push up that Rizar if you got him and you'd be
Right.
ready for all of the next month's resources. Well, now you get them for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
They continue to matter.
Yeah. And I do like that a lot.
Yeah. So Lee, I think the game has changed in a sense where you can't afford to not invest in the characters that they give you the currency to take up, right? That's my theory. I got some disdain for letting the community know that I would be taking Final Boss to 6 gold. I have never one day in the last 2 months of this game regretted that decision with the plus 99 MP. And even if he stinks after the plus 99 goes away, it will have all been worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that is absolutely true. I think, like, for example, you get some of the usually the showdown A tier characters were pretty functional beyond, but there are some times for sure you'd get a new character, you'd use them for one event and a victory tour maybe, and that was it, right? You just throw them aside and you never use them again. I think this does awesomely playing into the Miz. This does awesomely give you a reason to use that character for at least 2 months. Like, you're not going to shelve it. Any of the newer characters you get, like, that are on point, that are on the MLC roadmap, if you get one of them, you are at least going to use them solidly for 2 months. And I like that. I mean, I think that is, I think that's a great way to do things. I agree. I think that the Miz is going to outshine the final boss in the long term, but he's also not, like, let's not forget, one of the things that we often take heat for from the higher level players in the community is that we talk a lot to our free to play audience and etc. Yeah. But the reality is, there are a lot of people who got Final Boss Rock, even if it was into this new MLC because they continued to give away shards or grindable and sellable, that got Final Boss Rock that honestly have never gotten a chase. Ever. Right. And even though Final Boss Rock is not the level of chase that like a D-Lo or a Powerhouse Kevin Owens or a Braun, etc. was, it doesn't matter. That was the first chase character they got. It was the first time they've ever been able to do a victory tour. And even if they only got 1 week of the victory tour, that was a huge amount of rewards that they're not used to. So, I mean, I think overall this was a win for the community. And the way that Scopely has implemented it, for people like us, like I said, I got Final Boss Rock. Let me just say it this way. I didn't get him the first time, just to be clear. I didn't get him from the bag, the oopsie.
You were not part of the bag fiasco.
Right.
Lee and I were both
we were on stream.
We were our show when it happened. So
we missed
totally
it.
Missed out on it. Yep.
Oh, believe me, we would have gone for it if we could have. But anyway, that's just honesty.
We
did try, but it was already gone. But we got Final Boss Rock 2 weeks in, and the reality was, even though, like, for my roster, Final Boss will not be one of my ongoing, like, I'll use him, but he's not my best rock because I have Nation of Domination rock. He's not my best striker, but he's really good. And the way he's been incentivized, I personally, for my size roster, might have shelved that character fairly quickly, but instead I've been incentivized to continue using them. And what I've found is I enjoy using him a lot more than I thought I would, which means I would have shelved him and missed the goodness of him. So anyway.
And let me say this. I am known at times to be the village idiot of the champions. And I'm okay with that, because here's why. I play this game to have fun. The Rock Final Boss may not be the most powerful superstar, but he is, I would say, arguably the second most fun superstar that I have.
Okay.
Number one being Acro Dominic. I love Acro Dom.
You realize you have Tech Charlotte, right?
I love Acro Dom. I love it. I've got the La Familia. I've got him 6 full stars, silver, and he just, to me, I love healing. I love the loop. I love the recycle of the my MP refilling,
right?
The low charge. So for me, Triple Yellow Rock Final Boss is about as fun of a superstar as we've been given in the last few years. Now, Lee, I want you to, here's something you might have missed. You got Final Boss Week 2. I know how you got him. They don't. You actually made the choice to use your loot coin.
The MLC emblems. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you, because of what we said, the necessity or the urgency of getting the superstar early. Yeah. You calculated the gamble there and said, even if I miss out on the gold loot, I'm still going for those rock shards. Tell us about that. What? How do you make that decision? How do you know that's the right decision? Did it pay off?
That's a great follow-up question or set of questions. So I made the decision based purely around what we talked about of, if I used my prize wall emblem, I could get rock in the time frame of that 24-hour showdown premium prize wall. And so I wasn't going to get him another way. I didn't have another path forward, but I could guarantee myself him right there. And I had the conversation with myself about the fact that would mean, unless I hit bonus milestones in the new, because that 6-star gold loot was new. Nobody had played it yet. We hadn't gotten it yet. Like it was
Right.
again, Triple H booking. It was a month-long play, and I risked screwing up that entire month-long play by doing that. However, I knew I was going to get the premium prize wall. It was the last day or the last 2 days of his victory tour before it reset. So I got another week on the victory tour because I knew I'd get him the next week. I knew I would get him the next week, but I wanted the premium prize wall. I wanted the victory tour. I wanted the shards that it would get me for Charlotte, and that was also a big part of it there. Ironically, I came literally this close to not getting Charlotte in the month because I didn't have that prize wall token to get her shards instead at the end. So it was like, I mean, I strategically had to do a mega pull knowing that I was likely to get nothing out of the mega pull. Didn't even record it, I don't think.
Just for the contest points, right?
Just to get the contest points. And thank goodness Toxic Mafia was one of the top factions that event. I mean, we usually do well, but like we hit the, like if we would have gotten one milestone lower, I wouldn't have gotten Charlotte. But did it pay off? Well, in the long term, yes. I did end up getting enough shards to still get my 3 pull on the 6-star gold loot. And while a lot of people are down on that loot because, again, you usually still don't get top tier character. You know, it's weighted towards more common characters. I did end up getting Pat Patterson. I did a video that we saw that it's labeled I used 1 billion coins. It was actually 927 million coins. But I did one shot, 927 million coins into him to show what it would look like to take
you
him.
Say from hereafter.
Hey, it was for the content, man. It was purely for the content. But he is now my top character,
you know.
and I enjoy him too. But anyways, so it was a strategic move. It did end up paying off. But let me just be absolutely clear and honest. If I had not had the ability to do, I think it took me 2 across multiple events. It took me 2 mega pulls I might not have done otherwise to get Charlotte because I took Rock early. I might have risked Charlotte for Rock, but it did end up working out in my favor quite a lot, and I got a lot of stinking resources.
So calculated risk, but a risk nonetheless.
Yeah.
Also, it could have gone the other way. Like you could have easily missed. You could have missed Charlotte, or it could have gone a different way.
Right.
Your megas that were a bust might have
been a hit.
Charlotte in them, right?
And her gear, which I didn't get.
This is not a game. At times, this is not a game of simple strategy. It's also a game of risk and
reward.
There's a gamble involved in this game, and we've all been burned. By gamble. We've all I bought a $20 7 pull yesterday, thinking maybe the Miz, right? Maybe,
right?
And it was
nothing.
It was bad. It was bad. Lee, let me ask you this: give me a quick take.
Sure.
This is something people might have missed, right? Thinking about my friend who was gone for months.
Right.
What is 6 gold really all about? How do I know? I come back into the game. 6 gold is live. How do I know who I should take to 6 gold? And feel free to reference other content we've done. Well,
I was going to say, first thing is you follow our Should You Take Blank 6-star gold series. Although, just shout out for those who are listening and maybe haven't seen on our Discord, we had some family tragedy, family emergency that spanned last week, will span this week. We're actually flying back to Tulsa for a funeral. And then the next week, my wife and I had a vacation plan. So I was planning on taking these last 2 weeks and doubling down on content, and instead we have none. So that series is not on pause, and the Nia Jax video was actually one of the first ones I did, and I just kept booting it later and later and later because exactly. Although the comments have been hilarious. There's been several in there who have said like, I didn't think I was going to enjoy watching this video because I knew the answer, and it was almost like watching a car crash. I was like, yes, that's the way to be.
Slow motion that did 0 damage after the car crash.
That's right. Oh, that's hilarious. But that being said, yeah, so 6-star gold is the natural extension of, every year there's been a new star rarity. We knew when 6 bronze came out that about a year later 6 silver would come out. We knew when 6 silver came out about a year later that 6 gold would come out. And we know now that about a year from now 7-star will come out, which is going to be an even bigger change. We'll talk about that some other day.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay.
Right. Yeah, let's stay in 6 gold. But the things about the 6-star gold meta that have surprised people, like for example, I think this was an online conversation, like in terms of public conversation and not a behind the scenes conversation with Merrick's, but it's not going to be one like, oh my gosh, he just shared the tea of Merrick's back end, whatever. But literally, like Merrick's was saying, one of the things he appreciates about the 6-star gold meta that's been very different from the previous ones is that in the previous ones, functionally, once the new star rarity came out, every character that was released before that, including ones that had been released like the weekend before, were half as strong as the new characters.
Oh, yeah.
And in this case, while the gem damage did double, the way that they've perfected building characters, not that they can't take leaps and bounds again and make power gems like 1 billion per gem and all that. Yeah, I mean, they could do that kind of stuff, but they didn't. They kept things to where, like, my top end roster now is like Powerhouse Austin that I had just gotten. And in the old meta setups, it would have been like, well, he's probably not going to be very meta relevant. Think about Montez Ford. Like this weekend's or this midweek loot, which I did pull on again offline in order to get the moment, the tribute to the troop moment that I wanted so badly and now have.
Right.
But the loot was terrible. But I must have gotten 17 of my 40 pulls were Acro Montez. And in his era, Acro Montez was the absolute top character you could have.
Yeah.
But as soon as the next meta came out, he was barely usable. And I know some people are going to say, I still use Acro Montez. I get it. I see you, Noble January, and I love you. But he was half as usable 1 month, 1 meta later. And then by 3 metas later, I mean, again, he's just like he's tickling them with his high-flying move. That's it.
And we've seen others. Tech, Triple H, DX Triple H, right? Top of the 5 gold meta.
Yeah.
Where is he now? We've seen Acro Edge,
right.
Top of the 5 gold meta. Where is he now?
Yeah. Again, in the loot this midweek, you get like 75 of them. It's ridiculous.
We are about to talk about that midweek loot. We're about to talk about that midweek prize wall. But let me do this one last point before we shift gears. Because the things you might have missed, the month-long midweek prize wall is the biggest thing people have missed. So on that. But Lee, one thing you might have missed is the plate picker shop is going away in June.
It is.
It is. They will not reset it. There will not be a Titan plate on it. You have been saving your coins, hoping the drip would show up there.
Right.
It will not.
It will not.
Tell us about. Is there any strategy or anything that we need to pay attention to as we think about the plate picker shop going away at the end of this MLC?
Yeah, that's a good topic. It's going away. It's been something when there was only monthly talent ups, you would get 1 plate picker coin per month, and so within 10 months you could get a Titan plate, and then that of course switched over to the Dead Man's Sigil. It's going away completely. It won't be there anymore. All of those plates, or at least the ability to get plates, has been moved into bags that have been in feud rewards and et cetera, et cetera. So you're no longer trying to get plates that way. You're trying to hit the above 50 million usually, or whatever, that midpoint milestone in feud war score, the bottom end right there. There's usually 2 if not 3 bags that will have the opportunity to get you new plates. Now, there are different plates. The ones that are on the prize wall are not there. So let's say you're the person who has 15 prize wall tokens saved up, right? The Dead Man's...
At the beginning of this MLC, if you maxed this
that's true.
First talent up, you got 10 additional coins. So some people that have been saving probably have
20 or 30
plus.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, well, but for the sake of argument, let's say you have 15. Let's use a low average because you got the free 10. I
Right.
think that the Dead Man's Sigil is an underrated plate. It's not game changing like the Piper's Power or the Drip, but there are some people you can put it on, especially secretly those guys who like don't move the pin bar but make black. You can stack some X Break gyms like the Hogan's pretty much use that as one of their cheat codes. That would be a good plate to at least have one of for sure. And even if it's a multiple, you could do that. Most of the other ones were available in early days, but they haven't been as available lately. And a lot of them are like the heavy machinery, like the break green, get yellow,
Right.
break purple, get blue, or whatever. I'm using the wrong colors, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. The
Some
smoke
of those
plate.
plates. Yeah, the
Yeah.
smoke plate,
Mhm.
the what the Rock is cooking. And there's still characters that absolutely is game changing for. So if you're missing
Yeah.
any of those make one color or break one color, get another color, absolutely get whatever you're missing. At least have one of each. If there are ones like the Viper Strike, that one on Powerhouse Braun, on Zombie
Oh,
Becky, on a few Muhammad Ali, like there's a few where you have that plate, and
right.
it's not needed for them, but it just adds that nice little oomph to the
I
end of it.
like. There's a plate called the Twilight Ritual that
Yeah,
I use. I use
yeah.
that on Powerhouse KO
Oh
because
yeah.
I only run the yellow purple moveset,
Okay.
so that he's feud ready, and then I can continue to convert gems on the board, especially during his kick out. So it's really nice. That's like a deep pick plate that
Right.
I grabbed another one from this month's
Right.
wall.
Yeah.
I
Any
don't
of
think I
those,
had any
DX Army
other.
Assault, Twilight Ritual, any of those are
Yeah,
amazing on
the ones
certain
that
characters.
make gems will prove to be useful somewhere
Yeah.
someday,
Right.
even if it's just for a CSS to beat a cheesy level that you're struggling with. Like those plates can help,
Can
right?
I share a story of how that actually
Yeah,
proved true? So
right.
last month we talked about should you take Nia Jax 6-star gold? Ha ha ha! She's a train wreck. Last
Yeah,
month there was the tour, and you had gotten EO Sky, and so you were
yeah,
covered. But if you were
yeah.
like me, you had to have either the new Charlotte, which I didn't have yet, EO Sky, which I don't have still, or
Oof,
Nia Jax. And you had to
right.
beat up
Ooh,
to a 6-star silver. And again, if I had not beat that tour with Nia Jax, I would not have shard recruited the new Charlotte. So it
that's
was
crazy.
imperative to me
Uh,
that I build Nia Jax. I took her 6-star bronze. Shame upon my family.
wow.
But I
Wow.
still couldn't beat the final two nodes. The way
Right.
that I did it was using the plates. I used the one that is on the prize wall right now, the Dead Man's Sigil, and I
Oh.
used one of the other ones that reloaded her sub, which her sub at 6 stars does like 2,000 damage per. I mean, literally it's like
Ooh,
it's not even 1-star meta relevant, and at 6 star.
gross.
So I had to
Gross.
super cycle her sub using the Dead Man's Sigil plate to create enough X Break gems that I could continuously recycle because her move charge is like 15 on that
Yeah.
move. And I did. I beat. It took 45 minutes to an hour per match, but I beat those two
Oh,
with Nia Jax
oh,
because of those plates. If I didn't have those plates, there was no possible path for.
that's a grind.
I would have
That's
had to
for
have taken her
survival,
6-star gold, and I didn't have the resources to do that. Whew. Whew.
bro. It, yeah, the things that we do for this game are
I know, right?
funny, aren't they?
Right.
Okay, Lee. So we've awesome things you might have missed. The number one question that I see on Discord, the number one confusing thing in the game right now is the brand new, and I want you to talk about it, the brand new midweek contest month long prize wall. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Midweek
Midweek
contest month
contest,
long
month long
prize wall.
prize wall. Nice.
What's
Jinx,
up
you owe
with
me a Coke.
that? And then I'm going to pull up the prize wall on my phone and look at it while you
Okay.
give us an overview of what it is and what
Well,
we need to be thinking about.
Rusty, we we are now doing the podcast on live on Twitch. I could actually pull up the prize wall on our
Nice.
stream right now. Isn't
Even
that crazy?
better. That's way
Isn't that
better. Let's do that.
crazy? Yeah,
Let's
hold on just
do
one
that.
second. I just gotta get there real quick on my
Okay. How
CC
about this?
account.
I'll give an overview of it
Okay.
while you pull that up.
Okay.
So, things you might have missed. The midweek contest used to be kind of a high end, it almost felt like a Wales only spend contest.
Oh yeah, I've
That
complained to
is,
Scopely every time we've been on a call with him. Every time.
and something has shifted. I won't say that spending is no longer part of the game, because it
Right.
certainly is, and you certainly can
Absolutely.
go further in these midweek contests by spending. However, there is now a level of engagement for grinding, for free to play. All of that is part of the midweek contest now.
Right.
Um, if you think about what has changed, things you might have missed, consider the Rock for President contest,
Oh.
which I would say
Oh.
is one of the most difficult contests I ever saw, with high bar CSS and lots of spending required. Now we have a midweek boss battle that's giving us currency in the milestones for a prize wall that will not expire at the end of this contest.
Right.
I can actually continue to accumulate currency throughout the next 4 weeks, midweek contests, so that then I can go and decide what I want. Or, as Lee mentioned earlier in the show, he's already blown his his. My
Whoa.
grandma used to
Whoa.
say that money's burning a hole in your pocket, right? So
Yeah.
he's already blown his medallions. He got a
Pause.
moment. But Lee, it's important that everyone understand they do not have to spin these medallions. And
Right.
in fact, it's probably not a very good strategy to spin them.
Hey,
Save
you
them.
called me out here.
Save them, friends. This is a 5 week MLC.
Right.
So we've got at least 3 more midweek contests.
Right.
Now, I have not really spent on this contest, and I think I have somewhere around 1.5K medallions. Now, this is day 1 of the boss battle before reset. I'm probably
Right.
going to I'm anticipating I'll get another 500 medallions.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a conservative estimate. I may
Right.
be overinflating it. If that's true, if I'm getting about 2,000 medallions from this midweek, and I'm
Right.
anticipating there being 3 more at least,
Right.
that means I can potentially forecast that I might get around 8,000 medallions. Now,
Maybe.
yes, I would say don't get your hopes up, right? That's a guesstimation. And we know that when we guess at this game, oftentimes we can get it wrong, subject to change, et cetera, et cetera. But Lee, on screen right now, I'm looking at 2, because this is something that was not announced. I don't even think it's been on
Right.
stream yet. There's
Yeah,
2.
DJ talked about it.
Oh, nice. So there's 2 brand new moments.
Yeah.
2
Two.
brand new moments. One of them is about half the price of the other. The Miz moment is a global, what do we call it? A global moment. It
Right.
works
Everywhere.
in every format for
Yes.
superstars.
Yes.
I'm going to go to my moments and look at, but the Miz moment is from when he stole the briefcase.
From Otis.
Was it from Otis?
Yeah.
He tricked him. So here's who's going to benefit from this moment: Striker Bobby Lashley, Striker Drew,
Ooh.
Acro Uso, Otis Heavy Machinery, Striker Orton, Head of the Table Roman, Acro R-Truth, and the new Miz, the new tech Miz.
Yeah.
If I max that moment, it's as powerful as the WrestleMania 1 moment was. Receive 50% less damage from all gym colors,
Right.
right? That's really good.
That's
Um,
yeah.
and then all of my gyms or any of those superstars are going to do 100% more damage. Pyro gyms are going to do 300% more damage.
Jeez.
All color moves that do damage will do 100% more damage. Multiply
Mm.
gyms will increase their strength by 4.
Wow.
Moves that generate snowfall gems will generate 8 more snowfall gems.
That's big. That is
Yeah.
big for a couple
So
of those guys.
so we're looking at a moment that could revitalize some older superstars that maybe we
Yeah.
thought were past their prime, but it's going to work like
Spoilers, but Professor did a video with I'ma get him Jey Uso where he was doing like 30 or 40 million because of that
wow,
moment, which is
wow.
whoa, hello, welcome back.
Right. Who thought that was even possible? And I
Right.
love this, Lee. Okay, I forecasted that it might be possible to get around 8,000 medallions. That was
Okay.
my forecast. This moment's a little over 4,000. Now, would it be a win? Would it be a win if most of the community had access through gameplay alone and no spending to get the new MLC Chase
Right.
character, The Miz, and a moment that makes him OP, a global moment? Would that be a
Makes him.
win for the month?
I would say so. Yes. I mean, that's like, okay, so we talked about, you said I've already, blown my cover. And yeah, I went for, so you said you didn't spend and got around 2,000 or will have had around
I
2,000.
got about 1.5 right now.
I did a mega and 3 or 4 single pulls, and the single pulls were just pure impulse. It was just like, can I do one more time, one more time? But at least they were singles, not more megas. But I did a mega, and I got enough. I got 28 or 2.8 thousand to be able to get the moment that I desperately wanted, which is right down here. One that I wasn't sure I was ever going to see, accessible for me, which is the tribute to the troops moment. That
Okay.
is similar to what you've been talking about with the Miz. This one works on Powerhouse Hulk Hogan, and I have the Ali moment, and I have the WrestleMania moment. With those 3 powers combined, that
Right.
character has 225% universal all gem damage in every single mode, plus
Every form.
generates 8 more gems on one, 4 more gems on another. I mean, like, I have seen some people in our faction, one in particular, with
Yeah.
that Hulk Hogan build, without gear, which I don't have gear either, but with those 3 moments maxed,
Yeah.
hitting in the hundreds of millions with that
Get
character.
out of town.
That
Are
is a
you serious?
huge win. Huge win.
Okay. So because you have this moment on screen, let me highlight something on this page. I
Okay.
looked very carefully at these moments. So this is things you might have missed. There
Yeah.
are a lot of moments right here that are under 5K medallions, under
Yes.
5,000 medallions. There are a lot.
A lot.
However,
A lot.
however, the only moment that's under 5K that is not on the Showdown Shop rotation is the tribute to the troops moment.
That's why I
And
wanted it so bad.
the new Miz moment.
Right.
So if you're going to take a chance on a moment,
Wait,
or
the tag tournament one is on there?
I think so.
We'll have to double check that. I don't think the tag tournament, but either way, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's
Okay.
you're at the very least 90% accurate, even if you get
Right.
that one off.
Okay. You might be right. Oh, the tag tournament. No, that's not in the MLC shop rotation either.
Okay,
So that's
but it's
if you have your
top end of
striker,
that 5K.
and if you've got a Fatu or a Samu or a striker Bam Bam or a Tatanka built up, that's a great moment.
Right.
However, that's a showdown
Showdown
moment.
only.
And I would anticipate that's going to come to the showdown shop eventually.
Eventually.
But I'm not sure that a showdown moment is as valuable as one, a universal moment, like you
Right.
explained, or two, a feud moment.
Right.
Look at this new Imperium moment, Lee. Now, this is
Oops.
going to take, this is probably going to wipe out your medallions,
Yeah.
This new moment is insane. The people that it works for are Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser, Striker Butch, Powerhouse Ridge, Showboat Sheamus, Powerhouse Gunther, and Tech Gunther. This is a faction feud moment. Listen to this as it's maxed, Lee. When it's maxed, Leech gems do 225% more damage. Countdown gems do 200% more damage. Immobile gems, 200% more damage. Reinforced gems do 150% more damage. Multiply gems do strength, increase their strength by 4, and red gems do 100% more damage.
Yeah.
Do you realize, and I'm sure you do, like
I do.
so like they've just reinvigorated all of these superstars for the 6 gold meta. Maybe Powerhouse Gunther is the one that's probably not gonna be reinvigorated.
We'll have to try him out at some point because red gems do 100%, and he continually floods the board with red gems. So,
right.
I mean, that maybe not, but yeah, you're talking about like, okay, so let's take Tech Gunther. We did a video on him with the title was literally, is he actually just the doo-doo emoji, right? And while one of our amazing listeners and friend of the channel helped walk me through, watch that video, you'll see like literally they're like, do this, then do this, then do this, use this move set, and I mean, I did get Gunther to hit top level, but I mean the amount of, you often say like my smooth brain doesn't handle this, the amount of things I had to do and remember to make Tech Gunther work were just out there. But now like multiply gems is a big feature of his. They're going up by 4. You got to think, okay, so red gems 100% damage, that's like a multiply of times 2, you know, it takes 1, makes it another 1, but you're talking about multiply gems going up by 4. That's 100 plus 100 plus 100, and maybe my math is off, there might be another plus 100, but either way it is 400%, not 100%. That's huge. That's a big boost. And look at Butch. True. Countdown gems do 200% more damage. Think of his countdown moveset.
Yes.
Maybe he's back in the conversation.
Well, not only that, right? And his red. So Butch gets
that's right.
Bonus. So you got the Z plate on Butch, and
the Cora.
Cora. Maybe the NWO plate. Maybe. No. Okay. So, but one, the 3 that we mentioned, and, and then the sheriff's badge for a little extra ice, for a little extra pepper, and now the countdown is the count. Yeah, we're talking about suddenly Butch might be your best striker, where you 2 months ago you're like, man, I wish I could use Butch. He's done. The meta's passed him by. He doesn't hit for hard enough. Same thing with Giovanni Vinci. Like we were really excited at 6-star silver about Vinci. Maybe didn't make the jump to gold, but then Ludwig Kaiser, if you've got the drip plate, you already know insane. Ludwig Kaiser is the best technician in the game for feud. Right. Now your leech gems are going to do an additional 225%. What?
Right.
That's like gasoline. That's like pouring jet fuel on a bonfire with what you're going to be able to do. I'm actually afraid of seeing Ludwig Kaiser across from me in a feud now, because I won't get a turn 2 if that little setup is on my opponent.
Well, and we're doing the podcast, live here on the Twitches for the first time, and one of the comments in there was, I don't see anything with blast gems, so how has Ridge Holland helped? That is true. I mean, Ridge benefits probably the least, actually, for me out of these. I mean, everybody else has something. Now, he does have a moveset that works with red gems, but most people are running the Blast Black, which is, I mean, even our Should You Take Him 6-star Gold series, that's what I built him out with, was the Titan Plate, Blast, and Black. And spoiler, he's not, he doesn't hold up super well, which is okay. I mean, again, he's a B tier character, free tier character from, multiple metas ago, or at least a meta ago. And so the fact that they're even giving any, like, hey, look at this little boost here, and the fact that it's accessible. Here's the thing about prize walls that I have said to Scopely directly on our conversations with them is the prize walls actually have always felt like a like a non-benefit, right? Because I'll see them, like for example the tribute to the troops moment, in a past prize wall, more than likely I would have gotten, even with spending a mega, would have gotten like maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500 prize wall currency, and that's 2,500, right? And so seeing it there, and then I get 1,500, and all I can get are the moments that are already in the bags, and I have 17,000 copies of The Undertaker puts mankind through the Hell in the Cell. It
Yeah.
just, I literally told Scope, I don't like prize walls. I love the concept of them, but they make me feel bad every time they come up.
Right.
That's different now. The fact that not
Yeah.
only did I get what I wanted right off the bat, but the fact that I could chase that Miz moment all month, or the Imperium
Yeah.
moment, I'm
Yeah.
incentivized. I'm
Right.
excited.
Yeah, Lee, let's look at a few more things on the prize wall because I'm noticing there obviously there's a diversity of
Right.
prices. There's a diversity of prices as
Prizes
well as
says.
prizes. But what I'm seeing here is like really categories of gear,
Yep.
straps, and
Yep.
moments. I'm not
Yep.
sure that really anything else is going to be added to this. I don't see plates. Maybe that's
That
coming. Maybe
might be,
not.
since there's been a, yeah, who knows? Who knows? And especially because this weekend, well, maybe that may be a weekend thing, but theoretically, your showdown is when they introduce the plate that goes to the A tier characters. So Miz
Right.
should have a plate that we'll probably announce on the WCW tonight when we record it.
So why don't we do this? Let's jump back and forth because
Okay.
I am a total freak about moments. I love moments. So let's look at
Yeah.
moments first, and
Okay.
then I'm gonna call out a moment or two that I think is really important and valuable,
Yeah.
and then you do it, and then we'll look at some of the other categories.
Okay.
Lee, let's say in a perfect world, we actually get eight plus thousand
Okay.
um, medallions.
Okay.
The first moment that I would pick, if that were true, would be this NXT arrival moment.
Yep.
And let's assume, like I said, let's forecast I get about 8K. Now, I might have to spend to get that. But
Right.
Lee, this moment is what so many people talk about that makes Wes Lee
Mm.
and Cora Jade and Roxanne just absolute feud powerhouses.
Right.
Some of the best in the game. And
Right.
I have all three of those. And in fact, I have all three of those, and I enjoy playing with them. And so um, I'm trying to find it on my phone real quick just to read the one that I think was so incredible is that if that moment was maxed, Wes Lee, he would increase multiply Jim's strength by 5.
Mm.
Holy smokes! And he creates 3 rows of multiply gems, and then he would be able to smash them all. Um, same thing with Roxanne. We would see her yellow gems do 125% more, and leech gems do 200% more.
Yeah.
So like Roxanne, with that moment, is would probably be my best female striker
Yeah.
at 6 gold. Um, Lee, what moment do you think really sticks out, or that we should be thinking about in the community?
Well, it's more the concept behind two of the moments I'm looking at on screen, and that is this idea that there's kind of a moment, or has been a moment since the 7th anniversary, that all of the characters released that month benefit from. So again, this would be the top end. This is 11 and 12K, but I love the fact that they're at least accessible again, even if they're not within reach for many. But the 7th anniversary moment, the
Oh
story
yeah,
finished moment token, and then I think
right.
somewhere in here, the Dudley Boys moment. Somewhere in here is the. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that there was also the one for the
The carrying
Karrion
cross.
Cross and those guys. Maybe I don't see it,
Yeah,
so
that's
maybe
a
it's
myth.
not.
It's the 6,000 mark. The
Oh,
Dudley
was it?
Boys and the Carrying Cross, yeah, they're around 6K medallions. They're surprisingly cheaper.
Oh, Final Testament
The
moment right there. Yeah. So that one's
Yeah.
8,000, but still that one impacts, like if you liked any of those characters in their MLC and again missed that, oh man, the 99 went away, that brings them back into not exactly the meta of 99 plus MP, but it brings them
Mhm.
back into, oh, these are guys I can really use again. And yeah, I like that. What else? I'm gonna run out of time, especially if we're gonna do any
Oh yeah,
WWE
yeah,
talk.
no
But
problem.
what else on the prize wall?
I was just going to say, Lee, what really sticks out to you as like the things we should be wanting to get out of this? I
So
don't like any of the gear. I don't like any of the gear.
okay, yeah,
You,
let's go there
I
real
don't know if you
quick.
feel that way too. Yeah.
Well, okay, so the two gear that are separated out, the Sami Zayn and the Vader Hall of Fame, those two are actually really good. But when you click on the gear itself, there's a Master Gym build for Eric Bischoff that was really big. Theories one is okay. Razor, the Red Razor gear, like you need that to even really let him be relevant. And then again, there's the other Hall of Fame Vader gear there, but Hogan's gear is not really doing anything. Riddle is out of date. Hurricane you probably should have gotten by now, but at least that one's cheap. So I mean they're okay. The Shawn Michaels gear would be fine, but for me the thing that's really intriguing is something. And again, I'm not trying to share behind the scenes conversations or whatever, but
Right.
we had some conversations with Scopely, not just you and I, but a larger group of us, just saying like, hey, why can't we do like an Ultimate Rainmaker strap? Why can't we do like a something that works on more people? Like they're so limited oftentimes, and I don't know if they were already working on them or if we actually made some change in the game. Like that's a crazy thought to have, but these straps are non-gender straps. So like for example, I have already on the little month-long thing where you've got some of those. I already went ahead and grabbed one of the 100% gem damage modern era straps. Now it is, as you can see on screen, gonna vary. So it's like striker, acrobat, technician. If it was guaranteed class as well, I 100% would have grabbed one for William Regal. I mean, that would be, I have a move
Yeah.
damage strap on him because that's all I've got. But I did end up getting an acrobat 100% gem damage strap for modern era, and immediately went, okay, Zombie Becky just got a 100% gem damage strap. But if I wanted to move over a strap, like say Devon, I haven't taken him 6 gold yet, but there's a reality ahead where either Devon or D-Low is going to go and be my first 6-star gold male. If it were Devon, oh no, never mind, he's not modern era. Either way, you get the idea. So let's go back to Wesley. So let's say I wanted to use Wesley and I don't have a very good strap on him. It costs a lot less to move the strap off Zombie Becky over to Wes Lee and then move it back when I don't need it on him anymore than it does to try and find a strap that would have 100% gem damage, that would then be for that specific class, specific era, and spend all of the currency it takes to unlock the full strap and then move over all of my plates if I could, because I don't have enough plate mover currency, and then on top of that also need the metal bits to be able to move over all of the metals and level them up.
Okay.
Like all of that just gets replaced with, I can just move the strap from Becky to Wesley. Done. And then I move it back.
Nice.
Like that is insane. So these non-gender conforming straps or non-gender required straps, and the fact that like they are going to be variable to a your class, but like I'm looking at the one on screen here, it's 100% gem damage strap for Attitude Era. So if I were to pull on that and get a powerhouse, boom, my Steve Austin moves from a move damage strap to a 100% gem damage strap instantly. And if I don't happen to hit powerhouse, think of how many Attitude Era strikers there are. I mean, the gamble factor on this is way lesser than what it has been in the past. And the fact that you can move them around between males, females, that is huge. So these are only 5,000 prize wall. Like, would I take that over the new Miz moment? Probably not. But let's say you got 8,000 and you had the ability to take the Miz moment and a strap. Think about what that could change for your roster. I mean, it's huge. So that's my big win on the prize wall. These straps and the month-long prize walls as well. The fact that there's multiple places you can get these straps. These are These are game changers
Nice.
for every size roster.
Nice. Well, yeah, I think that's fine for the prize wall. We don't have to keep going on and on and on. We
Okay.
typically don't do prize wall breakdowns, but I just
Right.
thought emphasizing the importance of it is something
Yeah.
that people have missed. And they're like, well, I guess I got to go use my currency, no, just hold on to it and let's see what happens this month. Lee, in the exciting world of WWE TV,
Yeah.
we are now what feels like a stalwart, meaning this is the do you know that, is that the right word? Did I use the right word?
Stalwart? Yeah, it's like the one that's always there, the reliable, hard charging.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the time of year where things are pretty predictable. They're kind of on autopilot. There's going to be an international PLE coming up, Clash at the Castle. They're pushing all of the Scottish talent into the card, like
Of
Piper
course.
Niven is getting a title shot.
Wow.
The Alba Fire and her tag partner,
Isla
I don't even remember.
Iladan.
Yeah,
Iladan.
they are getting a women's tag title shot. Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in the main event. Surely they're not going to sweep with Scottish talent at Clash at the Castle.
They are going to, and don't call me Shirley. I was waiting for it. It was stupid, and I shouldn't have said it. Okay, so the old regime, allegedly, used to have this weird excitement by booking hometown heroes to get destroyed in their hometown.
Yeah.
And therefore, anytime they did something like this, it was like, well, Drew's going to lose, Iladan's going to lose, Alba Fire's going to lose, Piper Niven's going to lose. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Now, what will happen? So I was talking. This is going to be a strange way to start a conversation. I was talking with an 8-year-old the other day who found out that I like wrestling, and he was going through asking me like, okay, who's your favorite current champion? I was like, well, Cody Rhodes. He goes, right answer. Okay, what do you think of the Judgment Day? And I was like, well, I used to like them before. And he's, that's exactly the right answer. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I'm getting this 8-year-old's approval on all these things.
Right.
But one of the things said 8-year-old and I were talking about for the 2 or 3 minutes we got to talk about this was he, this young up and coming WWE fan who literally only started watching it a couple months ago, and it's like his life now. He was like, is Damian Priest just the most boring champion there has ever been? And I was like,
Yes.
well, you haven't watched wrestling for, I've watched wrestling since I was your age and younger, and I'm a lot older than you now. But anyway, but in his long life and long career of watching WWE, he was like, Damian Priest is just boring. Can they get rid of him? I was like, oops. So will Drew win the title? I sure hope so. I mean, I'm not as anti Damian Priest. I think he's making big strides, but I think Drew benefits from that title, from that win back. And if not, then CM Punk shows up, causes him to lose, and hopefully finally soon they get those two in a blood feud. But who knows?
Yeah, I think if there ever was a match that is ripe for an interruption, it's this Drew versus Damian title match, and I think we are definitely going to see Charles Matthews Punk,
Charles Montgomery Punk.
yeah,
Yeah.
or Uncle Howdy's debut
Oh,
that
yeah.
just ruins. Attitude Era-esque, right? Where someone
Yeah.
busts through the ring, or the lights turn off, or blood falls from the ceiling, or something of that.
Brood bath. You're calling for a
Yeah.
brood bath in 2024? Nobody would do that.
Something of that caliber. This
Yeah,
match is begging for something of that caliber to interrupt it.
I agree.
Because we don't care who wins.
I do.
We don't care who the champion of this. We don't care who holds this belt.
I do.
nice guy Damian Priest is weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. So
Agreed. Unless one booking choice that isn't going to happen, but I would love to see is Rhea comes back. Now I'm hearing her injuries are worse than expected, and that might not be the case, but maybe that's a red herring. Rhea comes back, and Rhea challenges Damian Priest for the title and wins. Like, that would be amazing. Yeah, like, you ruined the... look at how great Judgment Day was, and then I left, and you screwed it up, and she comes in and destroys him. Technically, it's been happening in other companies, but WWE's never had a female men's world heavyweight champion. They could get all the... but again, it's got to be Drew. Drew needs to win for the storyline to make sense. And Damian Priest, while we might eat these words in a couple days, Damian Priest doesn't benefit from keeping the title, but he does have a lot to benefit from losing the title and then feeling scorned, feeling he has something to prove. Maybe the Judgment Day was at fault, even, they didn't show up or they did, how they've done the thing where Finn interferes and he gets mad at Finn for interfering. Like, they have a lot that they can do with that. If he wins, the only thing they can really do is have CM Punk interfere, and that keeps that story interesting, but then Damian is...
You know who else I think could interfere and cause a title change here would be Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
I think Liv Morgan could
that
come
would be cool
and disrupt and distract and have Dominic get in the chase for her or Finn. I think we're going to see some resolution with this at Clash at the Castle. Here's my long story short. I don't really care about Clash at the Castle.
Wow.
I am 100% behind and excited for Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is a premium PLE. It's a high stakes
premium live event.
Well, it's like, how do you? They can't all be premium, right? They can't all be. So it's as important as Royal Rumble. It's more, to me, it's more important than SummerSlam. It's one of the big Survivor Series. Now it is in the Big Four, and probably replaced SummerSlam as the premier PLE of the summer.
We'll see. I mean, King of the Ring kind of brought that back with the stipulations, and Derek 1985 pointed out in our chat box that way that if Priest loses, then him versus Gunther at SummerSlam makes a lot more sense than Gunther versus Drew, not only because they've already done that and Gunther has come out on top most every time, if not every time, but also then it adds too much to the simplicity of the Punk versus Drew storyline. So I wasn't thinking about SummerSlam at all in conversation, and that comment right there added fuel to the, I bet you Damian does win. Crap.
I think there's got to be a disruption, and I think it has to outrage the Scottish crowd or amaze the Scottish crowd, right? So the only things that would do that would be a CM Punk interference, a Uncle Howdy reveal, or some sort of Liv Morgan Judgment Day implosion scenario. I think
you're right.
Now anything can happen, right? I just remember Attitude Era. You don't know who's going to run out of that gorilla position and run into the ring, and so
it's got to be Kane.
Yeah, my God. Long story short, that's probably about it for today. We'll have Clash at the Castle predictions on next week's show.
Clash at the Castle is this Saturday.
Here's my prediction. I'm going to hold my nose and watch it because I think I'm anticipating a stinker.
Wow. I don't know. Am I wrong, Chad? Again, last weekend have been a mess, but I'm pretty sure Clash at the Castle is this weekend because they've
I'm
been
gonna look
calling
it
this
up.
the go home shows, so it's got to be. But one of the comments in the chat right here, yes, it is this weekend.
Yeah, it's
One of
this
the
weekend.
comments in the chat was Chad Gable's going to beat Sammy. So you're holding your nose. I'm actually really excited for Sammy versus Gable if Chad wins. I'm really excited for Drew versus Priest because, well, until a few moments ago in the chat, I thought for sure that Priest was going to lose. Now I'm less sure, but that actually kind of brings me inside. But I'm going to be on an airplane, so I won't get to see it until
Oh.
later. So
Well, is it one of those airplanes where you get the the Wi-Fi and you can watch it live on your
it is
on
not
Peacock on your
complimentary
phone?
Wi-Fi on the dollar amounts that we spend on our sudden airline travels that we didn't anticipate. So no, I won't be. I won't be. It might be. The funeral might actually be going on still while that's happening. So I might watch it at the airport, like in the background, while I'm playing Showdown this weekend on WWE Champions. But anyway,
Okay, Lee. Well, let's do it really quick. Really
okay,
quick.
real
Women's
quick.
Championship: Bailey versus Piper Nevin. Who you got?
Who's Bailey again?
Right.
Is she a champion?
She's that quiet girl they never include in WWE programming anymore.
That's the one that they made champion and then totally forgot that she existed. Her. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Piper, but I don't care.
Interesting.
Yes,
I hope.
you.
I hope. I hope Chelsea Nevin. I mean, I hope Chelsea Green gets involved in an outrageous way in that match. I think Bailey's going
That'd be
over,
fun.
but I really hope Chelsea is the entertaining
Chelsea
aspect.
Green.
Women's Tag Team Championship triple threat. Triple
Okay.
threat. We've got Cargill and Belair versus Candice LeRae and Indy versus the unholy union Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Iladong. Iladong.
Um,
I don't think that
and
they're
then,
ready to have Jade lose yet.
and then you've got Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler very much a part of this storyline, but I don't understand why and how they're continuing to build. They're not in the match, are they? To my
I don't think
knowledge.
so. No, I don't. Not that I believe. Well, either way, I think.
No, they are in the match. Lorray and Indy are not in the match. I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
So
even
it's
still, yeah, it's definitely a
Baszler.
champions retain. And by the way, the finishing move that they had, where like Jade, dropped her down, and then Bianca kicked her back, and they did that was one of my favorite tag team finishers. It came out of nowhere, and I was just like, oh, that's
Yeah,
really cool. I
yeah,
really
it did
liked
look
that.
really cool.
So for me, double in a row, 2 matches in a row, champions retain for me.
So we basically have a glorified house show at this point. Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Maxine has an injured shin from contact with Sammy, and
Oh wow.
Otis is on playing the defensive watchdog, and Tozawa has dyed his hair back blonde after not making it to Jeddah. What do you got in this
Wow.
match?
This is the one I'm actually probably the most excited about storyline wise. I think ultimately Chad Gable's going to win the title. I'm not sure if it's right here or not, but when it happens, it needs to be because a combination of two things. The Creed brothers show up and interfere on Chad's behalf, and he wins, and then berates Otis and says, "This is what you should be. Do you see these physical specimens?" And then Otis just goes like Ultimate Warrior and starts shaking the ropes and just runs over everybody. That would be. I would watch the premium, not so premium live event just for that. Gable wins.
Gable wins.
That's my
Okay.
thought. Gable wins. Two Bob
I
agrees.
I would think we would have to have a title change hands for this card to matter because undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in an I Quit match. And it's
Ooh.
not a I quit. My son had the question. So is it the loser quits the WWE?
No.
No. The loser has to say I quit to forfeit the match. That's the conditions of the win.
I honestly want to see, and again, I said the same thing with Logan Paul. It's not that I'm against Cody as champion. I really like him. I want to see him lose and then get a redemption arc because that's more interesting. And I think AJ, if he pulled something like, okay, so they've been doing these callbacks with AJ Styles, right? So AJ called back the Mark Henry retirement speech where he destroyed John Cena, started the House of Pain, all that kind of storyline, which made him super interesting. And they called that back for AJ, like beat for beat. What if they call back Rock versus Mankind and AJ has the Bullet Club come in, the Anderson and Gallows, they destroy Cody, and they hold a microphone to his mouth, and you hear this, I quit, and it's like clearly not Cody, but then they're like, call the bell, boom, and AJ's the new champion, and then Cody all of a sudden has this vendetta, I didn't lose, I'm still the champion, and then he gets something interesting to do, and then he beats AJ at SummerSlam, gets the title back, and is a 2-time champion.
Yeah, I think Cody retains here. I think your scenario is at least makes it interesting. But I think this is going to be the match of the night. I think it's going to be the most entertaining match
AJ's so
of the
good.
night. And I think I'm starting to wonder if they're going to add a twist and somehow make this a retirement match. They teased that retirement so hard that, like, I thought it was real.
Again, give AJ the belt and then make it career versus title. Like, if Cody wins, AJ, then you've got some high stakes for SummerSlam.
Right.
I don't know.
And then our match it'll probably be the main event because of the Scottish crowd, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
My prediction is that somebody shows up in the crowd afterwards and Drew McIntyre randomly sings a song with boxer Tyson Fury. And everyone goes, wait, what the heck is going on here?
They're just saying American Pie in Scotland. Yes,
maybe
totally
it's a
makes
cultural
sense.
hit. I'm not Scottish. I don't know. But no, again, we've talked about this one already. My hope and dream is that Drew wins, but then Drew versus Gunther at SummerSlam doesn't make sense because the path is already CM Punk versus Drew, hopefully at SummerSlam, and I don't want that to become a triple threat and get messy. So my dream and heart is that Drew wins the title and finally gets this accolade that he has deserved. But my gut says that Damian Priest retains because of interference.
What accolade does he deserve? I mean, he got the belt at Mania.
He did.
More does he need? He needs to win it again in Scotland.
Hey, yeah, hometown. Okay, so here's the thing. I do. So pandemic era wrestling had one interesting thing, and it was Drew McIntyre was the best champion in years, and he got no flowers. He had no crowds. He lost it to Randy in a match that was not even, and it wasn't the best wrestling match ever. Like, I legitimately have grown to love Drew McIntyre as one of my top favorite characters. I did not like his initial heel turn, but the more that he just was the voice of the voiceless, which is funny because that's CM Punk. Oh, by the way, I just figured out how you can drop confetti from the sky. You just do air quotes and it drops confetti. Okay, now it's not working for us. There it is. He gets his flowers. He gets his accolades. I want Drew to win. He is, of the modern era champions, he is among my top 5 of the last 10 years, period.
So if that's true, Lee, the belt, this WWE champion belt would be the equivalent of the Attitude Era Eagle belt.
Yeah, jumps from person to person.
To Undertaker, to The Rock,
right.
That belt never lived in the same hotel room more than about a month in that, the late 90s. I mean, I could see them doing that.
Right.
That might make this title more interesting. But having it around Priest's waist for months and months and months, and him being a babyface makes no sense.
So you also want Drew to win?
I want something to happen. Drew winning would be better than Priest retaining in my book, because Damian probably needs opposition even more than Cody does at this point.
Oh,
Damian needs a battle to climb. He needs to start Los Boricuas 2.0 or something. The evil Latino heel faction. I would love to see Dominic and Damian and Andrade and Angel and Santos just be like the Latin kings and be like
the Latin mafia,
the credible, just the heels of Monday Night Raw. It would be so good.
I would like that. I mean, if they built off the Judgment Day, but then erased all that and made it more of like the Mafia Don feel, and Priest starts pulling the strings. I mean, again, yes, I agree. Damian Priest has lost a lot of intrigue for me. For me, he was always aside from Dom, he was the least member of the Judgment Day for most of its run in my eyes. And then all of a sudden they made him the top guy, and it was like, no, well, Rhea's the top guy in the group, and Dom's the most entertaining, and Finn is the best wrestler. What is Damian? He's maybe the muscle, and they could have played him, but they didn't play him as the muscle. They played him as the leader, which confused me. R-Truth is the leader of the Judgment Day.
Nothing. It's like JD is a less valuable X-Pac, you know?
With a much bigger head.
That's hard to do. It's hard to undervalue X-Pac in a somehow he's doing it, right? Somehow he's you know, what do they get? Maybe they're going to put JD with Kane and they're going to go on a tag run, you know?
And they wear the green suits. Green Kane. Oh my gosh. Oh, and also opportunity once again to say JD McDonough.
Well, that's it for us today.
I gotta go.
Hanging with us till the bitter end. And we're going to continue to try out this format of recording our show on Twitch. It'll probably be Thursday mornings at about 10-ish Eastern, which would be 7 a.m. Pacific if you're west. Is that right, Lee? Is that when we usually record?
Usually 7:30 my time, so that's 9:30 your time. But I might have some job change coming, so we'll have to see how it goes. But that would be ideal. We'll
let you know when the show is going to be. We'd love for you to join us on Discord. We'd love for you to join us Friday nights on the Champions Twitch, the main account, the WWE Champions, for our stream show. And what are we going to be doing this Friday night, Lee? Power ratings.
Well, we apologize for missing last week. I was out of town for a tragedy, and I was at a place. I was in the middle of Oklahoma where there was no internet, literally, and still thought I could do it. I thought we could get the stream going. But yes, we need to power rate Maurice, and then we would have power rated Miz this week, so we'll just do Miz and Mrs. power rating this week.
Oh, that's a perfect. See, Miz and Mrs. on stream together. The power rating of perfection with their French-Canadian Cleveland love affair.
Right. Well, it's an honor to be here with you guys. Like Rusty said, check us out. WCW drops tonight at midnight Central Time, which is our weekend contest walkthrough of what you can expect for the Miz's debut contest, even though you can get them already, and Bret Hart, being in the loot, which is great. And then follow us tomorrow night on the Champs channel, and we will see you guys live again. Bye.